episode of the Squirrel's Den Coaches Show. I'm Brent Nelson alongside Travis Lamar, head coach Tommy Butler. We're coming to you from the film laboratory here at Central Cass, aka my classroom. And this week's episode, we'll talk about the Devil's Lake game from last week, preview the Kindred matchup coming up here on Friday, and we'll hop into the film studio and we'll look at a couple different film clips here, both opponents and our own, and we'll have the coaches here kind of go through what they're looking at. Coach Butler, Devil's Lake, Friday night last week. Why don't you tell us what's going on there?
Well, I mean, I thought that, we talked about that we wanted to come in and match their physicality, things like that. And, it was just a terrible start, really, is what happened. Came out first series and have a couple intentional groundings and end up getting a safety. They come right back. We get them to fourth down, and they complete a long touchdown pass to their tight end, who had only caught 2 balls all year going into that game. So, it's just some kind of weird things like that start off. Then we come right back. We get the ball again. First play, fumble, scoop scored. We're down, 15-0 right away, or 16-0 right away. And then I thought we kind of, caught our breath a little bit, but they just continued to. I think we just kind of continued to make some mental mistakes. We got back in the game with a big long touchdown by Jake Deutsch, and then again same thing. I thought, okay, here we go. We're ready to go. We're ready to start rolling, and then it kind of just bled us down the field and ended up scoring a touchdown. And that was just kind of the theme all night, was just we just made these mental mistakes with stuff. And, we looked at it as a staff. We thought that we kind of gave them at least 22 points for that game. So, that was the really hard part when we went back and watched film with the guys, was, it just seemed like, we were right there on certain plays, and we just had mistakes on what we said we were going to do during the week, and we just didn't execute. So we said after the game, that's probably really a 15 or 16-7 game is what it should have been, but instead it's 37-7. So that was a tough one to bite. I mean, there's still some really good things that we saw in there, but I think we ended up allowing them less than 100 yards rushing for a team that's primarily a running team. I think they only had like 220 yards of total offense. So defensively, I thought we played pretty well. Again, we had a couple big letdowns, but other than that, though, I thought defensively we stacked up with them really well. It's just offensively we can't continue to put ourselves behind the chains, and that's kind of been our theme right now offensively, is we can't get out of our own way, and when we do get out of our own way, we see what happens, like with Wofford City. We put up a lot of points. So
probably a lot to do with the inexperience and the youth of your squad, getting behind and not being able to claw your way back out.
Right. And with that, I mean, now it's starting to get later in the year. I mean, I think that's kind of it's getting as an old excuse for us. As this is now, again, coming into this is week 6 now. We've got to get over that kind of stuff, and I think we will. We talked about it. We met with everybody and just said, this stuff just can't continue to happen, and I think we'll get there. We've had a good week of practice so far, so I think we're ready. I think it's really good that we get to play our rivals in Kindred. I think that kind of gives you a refocus, a little renewed energy. So I'm excited to see how that goes. But yeah, we just can't keep hurting ourselves, and I would love to see what happens when we don't do that.
And we played. I mean, offensively, we played behind the sticks most of the night.
Yep.
I mean, and we've told our guys, all year that we're not a team that can come back from 2nd and 15 and 2nd and 20. And I mean, one time we had 3rd and forever.
Right.
So, when we give Brendan time, he makes good throws. When we block things up right, it's good. But we need all 11 guys doing that. And on Friday night with them, and a couple weeks back with Turtle Mountain, it was kind of the same thing. We didn't have 11 guys executing when we needed 11 guys executing.
Yep.
And when those things happen, things don't go well offensively. All right, Coach Butler. Big week this week. Rivalry week. We see that team from the southeast in volleyball. We see them in football now. It's kind of nice to have it back on the schedule for rivalry sakes. Tell me what you see looking at that team, and what you know about them heading into Friday's game.
Well, I mean, they're a tough team. So they're 4-1 on the year right now. They just got beat by Valley City last week. But they're really disciplined. They have some really good athletes out on their edges. Their tailback is pretty talented, and I just think that they have a well-rounded team. They're not nearly as big as what we've seen from Devil's Lake and Turtle Mountain, but I think they're a little bit more disciplined in what they do. They're going to give us some different looks that we haven't seen so far this year, and so some of those things are pretty tough to match up with. I just think that the way that they play is very typical of their coaching staff. I mean, their coaching staff was like, played with them in college, very similar of, guys that just kind of just do their job, and that's kind of what they are. They're not going to get beat on stuff where, miscommunication type things like that. But we're going to have to play sound, fundamental ball, and I think if we can do that, I like the matchup that we have. But we have to execute though. We're going to have to beat them, not not have us beat ourselves. So.
What things from last week are you maybe trying to fix so they don't happen again this week against Kindred?
Yeah, I think that one of the things that we're trying to do this week is again, just we talked about this before, just communication of trying to make sure, like defensively, we're just understanding where everybody's at and what our jobs are. And I think playing a team that is very disciplined, I think that again, that heightened sense of awareness of we have to play at that level, otherwise we'll get beat. And so, like I said, in practice, I mean, we've been doing a really good job of that, communicating where we need to go. We'll have a couple of new guys playing some different positions. So I think that'll be interesting to see how that works out. I like the way that it looks right now, but I just think moving forward, I think that we just have to continue to do that defensively, and I think offensively, it's communication up front with our O-line, but it's with our wide receivers and QB. It's can our QB trust that our O-line will block for us, and then our receivers got to know what we're running and what we're trying to get to. So.
All right, we're here in the film lab, Coach Butler.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to talk a little film here. We're going to look at some of the Devil's Lake stuff from our game, and then stuff that you've watched from their games from before.
Right.
So you got a few plays here lined up.
Yep.
Why don't you tell us what you're looking at?
So one of the things that we really tried to do was we tried to key their number 5, who's this receiver here. And one of the things that we tried to do with him was we knew they wanted to get him the ball. So one of the things that we did was we put Junior Tote on him. We just told him, hey, you're going to follow that guy wherever he goes, and just try to stick on him as best we can. And then what we did was that safety that's on the top over there, this guy here was Christian. And then what we tried to do is we just tried to shade him over the top. And that way, if anything tried to go deep, he would kind of just shade over there with it. And so one of their favorite route combos is this guy would end up coming here, he'd run up, and then he's going to run like a little curl route. This guy usually did one or two things. He either would run up the field and then run like a wheel route, or he would run up like you'll see on this next clip. He'll run down the field, and then he's going to run a corner. So if you go ahead and you can let this play through here. So in this one, they just end up running vert routes here. This is towards the end of the game, so they're all just running deep. And again, their DBs do a nice job of staying over the top. Should have caught that ball. He ends up dropping it. But as you see on this next play here with us, so what we get here, we get that same look. Go ahead and pause it. We get that same look. So we have 2 receivers split out wide there. Junior's on number 5. This is 5. He's just going to try to jam him and run with him. This is Christian. He's just shading over the top, and what you're going to get is this guy's going to run up the field here. He's going to stop. This guy's going to run down, and then he's going to try to break to the corner out over here. And all Christian's doing is he's just reading this number 2. Number 2 runs that corner. Christian fades over the top, and as you see, he makes a great play on this ball here. Guy ends up running his little hitch. Here comes Christian over the top, gets an interception. And then we can see, go ahead and click to the next play. You can see out of here, out of the wide zone here, just Christian's eyes here. He's just reading number 2, stays over the top of it, jumps in front, makes a great play on there. So That was a great effort on both of those guys' parts, but really great job of Christian just matching what that guy's giving us. So on the next play here, one of the things that they tried to do is they tried to take advantage of this quarterback here, and so what they end up running here is just a little QB power. So I'll go ahead, you can start to play it here. What you get, and get ready to pause, is you get this motion that comes across. So what they're trying to get is they're trying to get everybody to start flowing this way over the top. So then what they're going to do is they're going to fake this handoff of the wing player coming across, go in this direction, hoping everybody overruns it. This guard right here ends up pulling around, and he's looking for this linebacker right here, and then he's going to try to run through there. So if you go ahead and play it, they seal it off, and he ends up, I think he ends up getting back to the 3-yard line there. So when we saw this, what we did was, you can go ahead and actually go to the end zone copy of it. So what they did was, go ahead and pause it, was what we did was we were going to make sure that when that guy motioned, we were going to try to get over the top here with Sully. AOT was going to try to keep this thing inside, and then Brock was going to come inside to that gap, and then Dixon, who's hidden here behind Christian, is actually slanting into this gap. And then Sam Badger was just going to slow play it, make sure that if anything came back, he would tackle it. And that's exactly what happens is as it gets played here, go ahead and get ready to pause. So we go ahead and shift. Dixon plays inside. Sam doesn't run over the top. He sees the quarterback pull it. Because Brock stays in his gap and runs through there, we end up having all of these gaps accounted for. So the only place that this guy can go is back into this gap, which is where we make a great play. Sam gets a great finish at the end, getting a nice stick on that guy. So great play all around. Go ahead, play it again. Just great team defense here of guys not over pursuing and making sure they're sticking with what they got. So.
All right, we're here with Coach Lamar here, and we're flipping over to the offensive side. We got 2 plays here that we're going to look at. 2 of the probably few that we hit the other night, but these are good. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, not a lot of success, so we went back and just kind of tried to find some things that we had. So what you have right now, you have this is our pistol base or pistol doubles formation. So we're in an even formation right now. Sully is actually behind Brendan here, okay? You've got 2 receivers over here, and you've got 2 receivers over here. We knew that we could spread them out if we did this. The other thing that it does is, if you look, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 D linemen, okay? And we've got 5 offensive linemen. We like to go 5 for 5 if we can up front. That's our 5 offensive linemen blocking their 5 defensive linemen. These guys are just stand-up outside linebackers. And then it allows us to give us a 6th guy right here with Sully, okay? So you'll see on the play, Sully steps up, makes a key block here that helps take care of this. It's kind of a max protect for us. But the other thing that we did notice Devils Lake likes to do is they like to bring pressure with one of these 2 guys, their inside backers. They'll show when they're coming. They don't show on this play, so it really gives us 6 for 5. What it does on the backside is, in the past when we played Devils Lake, they've tried to play us in man, which just basically means he has him, guy inside there has got our slot receiver inside, and same thing over there. So what we did, on this side we just run a little smash combination with these 2 receivers just to give us basically a fallback look, but really we're only looking in 2 spots right here, 1 and 2, okay? Jake gives a little bit of motion just to bring that guy in to get their 2 D-backs a little bit closer together. They release off the line of scrimmage kind of the same, and then Jake runs a clear route, and Christian kind of has a choice route up there. There are 2 linebackers trying to drop into coverage to get underneath it, and they just can't get there. I can't take the credit for this. I got to give it to Crispy. There's something that he saw on film with it. Drew it up for me, said, hey, what do you think? I thought it looked great. We threw it in. At this point in the game, this is the start of the 2nd quarter. Coach Butler's like, hey, we need something on offense here. You got to get something going. So we went to this play, and it pays off. If you want to, you can go ahead and play it. You'll see Jake comes into a little bit of a tight motion for us here. Gets stacked up right by Christian. They both release the same. Christian breaks out, Jake breaks in, makes a great catch on a perfectly thrown ball by Brendan. Jake makes a couple good moves. We get a couple key blocks, and we're down the field. Go ahead and fast forward. Go ahead and hit play on it. And if you'll see here, hit pause right there. Back it up just a little bit. This is their backer that is dropped from all the way up here, okay? He's dropping, trying to get underneath this route. This will tell you how good of a throw Brendan makes when he has time to throw the football, okay? Drops it right into his basket, okay? Their man coverage there. Go ahead and hit play. If you would now hit pause here. Because what you're going to see here is you're going to see Christian make a block on number 12, okay? 12 ends up coming back into the play at about the 3-yard line, but by the time he gets back into the play, Jake's already scoring. Will makes a great play too. This is great team offense. Go ahead. Will keeps coming down the field. He peels that guy off. Like I said, that block by Christian keeps 12 from making the tackle down the field. Really a great play by all those guys. Go ahead and take the end zone view. You'll kind of lose it here a little bit. Jake will come in motion. We snap the ball. If you look, go ahead and back it up a little bit, Coach, would you? Right here, Garrett Haugen's playing center for us. He'd been kind of having issues with this guy. We told him at this, before he went out on the field, look, we want you to cut him down, okay? Take him out underneath and just slow him down a little bit. So we get a good stop up in the middle. Go ahead, and you'll see. Yeah, go ahead and hit play. Everybody else is 5 for 5. We're running those guys back. We get beat on the edge over there, but Sully helps pick it up. And the rest we've already talked about. Jake makes a great move. We get some key blocks here. Jake gets into the end zone for our only touchdown of the night. So if you want to, go ahead and skip to our next play. Go ahead and hit pause. So what we have here is this is our stack. You can see these guys are stacked up right on top of each other. And the look that you're going to get is this D-back right here, he has the first out-breaking route. So if we ran something like that, he's got him. This D-back here has the first in-breaking route. So if he runs here, he's going to jump on top of him. What we do there is we're going to send Jake in motion all the way across the field. This guy goes with him. And when you see the end zone view, as soon as he leaves, it leaves a gigantic hole in the middle of the field. This guy's still playing Christian on an outside shade, and it allows Christian to break inside and beat him down the middle of the field. This play gets called back on a penalty for an illegal shift. 2 guys moving at the same time said that our Jake and our tailback move at the same time, which calls this play back. But it was a great play, and really, I mean, I just, we couldn't have drawn it up any better. So go ahead and hit play, Coach. Jake goes in motion. Christian releases inside. Brendan makes a great throw in between 2 defenders. And watch Sully on this play, if you will. Sully steps up right in the middle and takes his blitzing backer. You see him start to show. We know he's coming now. He comes. Sully steps up, takes him out. We're right there, right in between. Should have a first down on 3rd and long, which would have really helped spark us. Like I said, this was our 3rd drive, and we were really just kind of starting to get things rolling at this time. Unfortunate get called back, but just a great play. If you look up front here, you'll see Jake come into view, then you'll see the snap. We see the linebacker blitzing. Sully steps up, takes a perfect block on him. O-line does a great job up front. You can watch JD here start to celebrate, thinking that it's a great play. Do a good job. Brendan throws a great ball. Christian makes a nice catch. First down. Right there. That's team right there. He's happy for his teammate. So, Not a lot of highlights from the offensive side. Those were two. One led to a touchdown. One gets called back on a penalty. But it's what we showed our guys after the game is, look, when we execute, these are the kind of things that happen. So hopefully we can get a few more of these positive executions on Friday night.
Well, that'll do it for this week's episode of the Squirrels Den Coaches Show. Make sure you tune in next week as we recap the Kindred game and preview the matchup with the number 1 team in the state, the Hillsboro Central Valley Burros. So for Travis Lamar, Coach Tommy Butler, I'm Brent Nelson saying thanks for watching. See you next week.